Okay. Look. Okay. Someone asked, how'd you do it? How did you escape the clutches of someone who has destroyed and continuously destroys other people's lives? I'm talking like breaking down confidence, uh, causing you to feel like you're going crazy, separating you from all of your family and friends. How? How did you do it? Okay, now I wish, look, I'm going to tell you how, but I wish I had some secret magical formula. Um, it would be so much easier if I did, right? But I don't. I don't think there is a magical formula. The basis of everything, and I know it seems a bit redundant, but like the basis of everything is love, is self love. And even in those moments where you forget to love yourself, where you're so caught up in that maze of gaslighting and rage and, just craziness, even when you're lost in that and you forget to love yourself, love of your children, love of life, love of, those closest to you. That's what helped me. That is what really helped me. Love for my children. Now, and it's crazy because that is the very thing that I beat myself up about for staying in so long. And not even just with my ex. In this case in particular, I was talking about my ex, but also family. Like, why did I stay so long? That's the insane part, right? But that's the thing that you can't dwell on because it's never too late. It's never too late to strategize a plan. It's never too late to break free. It's never too late to wake up and stand up. And ultimately, that's what that was. That's what it was. Like just accepting reality, accepting what is true beyond what I want to be true, what I see is true, but like the actual reality. You know what I'm saying? That's not subject to my point of view, right? It includes my point of view, but that's not the only thing. That's just a small amount of part of like the greater reality, the greater truth. The truth was I had enough. The truth was it wasn't right. And now, one of the things that stand out to me, one of the things that I remember about both the narcissistic relationship with my mom and then extended out into other family, um, and also the narcissistic relationship with my ex. With my mom, she called me her angel. She made me feel special, like above other people, other siblings, and stuff like that. Even though she didn't always treat me good, she would say things that made me feel like I was just so special. Um, and it didn't match up. So that made me resent that feeling, like it had to be a hidden meaning behind it. Like by angel, did she mean someone, that is special, that is heaven sent? Because she wasn't treating me like I was heaven sent. Like as a parent, as a person, period. If you feel that a child is heaven sent, you're not going to molest them. You're not going to allow other people to molest them. You're not going to, as a form of punishment, force a male cousin to rape your angel, right? Like that does not make sense. But that's what she did. That's exactly what happened in my childhood, throughout my childhood. Um, Different things at different points, but I'm not going to get into that. And then the same thing with my ex. He would tell me I'm golden, right? He would tell me I'm precious. He would say things about his deceased mom, like she was always so nice, she was precious, she was golden, and he had this gold jewelry that was very thin and very like fragile, that he said was his mom's, and that he got it when she died, and he would talk about it like it was special to him. So special that he pawned it and kept it like in the pawn shop, and I literally had to have him in a situation where we was down there and was like, okay, let's just, like, your mom's sure is special, let's get it out the pawn shop, well, I keep paying on it every week. But anyway, then he would compare me to his mom, and he would say that, I'm golden. But then he would also say that his mom was insane, that his mom was crazy. She was nice and sweet, but she used to walk him to school. She used to walk him to school with, like, what is that called? The green, like the plant food in her hair. Like, she would put plant food in her hair as if it was hair gel or hair grease or something, and it'll be like green streaks in her hair. And he would talk about how embarrassing that was, but it was his mom. Now, my ex dropped out of school in 6th grade. Okay. He got picked on, stuff like that. Like, he played instruments, he was the nerd, but he got picked on a lot, got bullied a lot. So eventually, like, he stood up and fought, and he realized that in fighting, fighting a person or whatever gets you respect. So then people stopped messing with him, because then he became the bully. Okay. And now it's funny, right? Because he is a bully. And that never flattered me. He would say it as if it was supposed to be flattering, but it never flattered me. And I felt like it was an attack. Like, it reminded me of my mom calling me Angel, but really it felt like she was just saying that I was sweet and naive and, like, easy to get over on. Like, that's really what she meant by Angel. And so when he would say golden, I'm like, oh, okay, so you're saying that I'm precious, but I'm fragile and easy to break. He would talk about his mom going crazy. He would talk about his dad being a disciplinarian and everything. And he can understand his dad. He would say things about his dad being abusive towards his mom. So I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why she went crazy. But then I end up working with someone who went to school with him, and this person was telling me that they never remember his mom walking him to school like that. Like, his mom was always nice and sweet, and they don't remember her being crazy at all. Like, at all. Like, he don't know why they're saying that. They couldn't imagine it. So I'm like, okay, so he really was, like, saying that. Like, what was he really saying? So I started noticing the patterns, right? Of, like, when he would say it. It would be times of disagreement, like, those in between times where he wouldn't go, like, head on with me in an argument, that was, like, really heated. It'll be just like a little disagreement, or I would say something to him that I disagree with, or we'll have a conversation about something, like about the Bible or something like that. And, like, I like to debate. Sometimes I like to debate different ideas and stuff. I don't like to argue with people, but I do like to debate certain ideas. Sometimes, even if I agree with a point, I would take the opposite stance, just to kind of push forward the ideas, or to challenge someone else's ideas, to see what I can, bring out in them. And I'm not talking about, like, bring out negative sides in them or something like that, because that was something that he would try to say too. But really, it's not, because it's not an argument. It's a debate, and there is a difference. Like, you don't have to be emotional. Like, there's no emotions and stuff behind it. It's just an exchange of ideas. It's debating ideas. So, and sometimes when you call someone, when someone is not emotional and they think about the ideas or the questions, is causing their mind to move, and it'll bring out new ideas, new creative concepts and things like that, which is exciting, right? Like, just to ask a person questions and get them to think can cause them to bring out things, and it often does bring out things that you didn't even think about, right? And vice versa. So that's why it's exciting when somebody kind of, pushes your ideas, and it's all in love. It's not somebody trying to, like, downplay you or make you feel slow or something like that, which is what he would do. Um, but then when I wouldn't take offense to it, and I would, just come back a little challenging, like, well, this, I wish I could think of a specific situation right now. Um, but anyway, I would push it forward, and I would be like getting happy about it and thinking about it now, like in hindsight. Maybe it was the fact that I was too happy about it and he wanted me to feel crazy, because oftentimes watching him debate, and he would debate out like at the bus station and stuff like that. And it's like he got excited when other people got upset, you know? Um, he would either get excited when they got upset, or he would get excited when they was just completely agreeing with him and regurgitating what he just said in a different way. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody came and had some sort of intelligence, and they kind of pushed back on some of the things, he would get an attitude. And in editing the videos, he would even like sit there and talk about how he got an attitude. And if you listen back at the videos, you and know him, you can hear the attitude that he's trying to cover up in the videos. Anyway, it's crazy. So I would sit back and I would watch these things. And maybe what helped me was my ability to kind of detach from the situation and just think about, like, no, that's not right, that's not true. Or times where he would try to gaslight me and go in circles about something and try to get me to accept a lie as being true. And I would push back every time. And that literally cost him. One time he got so frustrated. He was like, why can't I break you? I just cannot break you. He would talk about his baby mamas. One of them was a red flag that I ignored, and I'm so sorry that I did. He was 30, she was 17, 16 or 17 when they got together. He told me that her mom her mom used drugs and was often selling her to her drug dealers for payment. So her daughter, she was pretty much handing her daughter off, her 16, 17-year-old daughter off to a bunch of different men to have sex with her, as payment for the drugs that she was using. So he used that as a justification, like he was the savior that came in. He bought her pretty much, and got the mom to give her to him. And that's how they started dating. And then by the time she was 19, he was breaking up with her. And she was like begging him to stay. And then they had sex, and that's how they had that daughter, got pregnant with the daughter. Now, he would often bring her up to say, like, he had to train her. He had to break her. She was wild in the streets, and he would beat on her and stuff like that. And he would use that to say, I need to submit. I need to just agree to whatever it is that he's saying, and be okay with it, or else that's what I'm going to get. But whenever that little inkling, he wouldn't say it directly, like, I beat her, I'll beat you. He would just tell a story. And then when we argue, or, I would disagree, he would bring her up and bring up something about that. And I'm sitting there trying to think, how does it connect? And then he would come back and say that thing again. I'm like, oh, but no. And then he would say like, that's what caused them to submit. Or he would talk about his oldest daughter's mom and how he used to beat on her all the time. he used her as an example and how he took care of her and all of that stuff as his campaign for me to stop working. Um, and then when I stopped working, well, come to find out, he was worried about coworkers. He would always talk about, how a woman has her work husband. You know what I'm saying? And he would use it to kind of sideways accuse me of cheating. Um, so things happened with my family, which is a whole other part of the story, and I let them go. And it was a moment where I just had a breakdown and I walked out of work and I didn't go back. Um, and he reassured me that everything will be okay. Like, you don't have to go back. Um, trying to get myself together, trying to talk myself into going back into that place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it even got to the point where I talked to the store manager and he pretty much gave me paid time off, sick pay, all of that, so I can still have money to carry out until I get my stuff together, even though I wasn't going back to that job. Like, that's how a good a worker I am, and they recognized me to be, and how they saw that the situation was crazy and all of that stuff. Like, that was truly a blessing. And in those, it was about a month worth of pay. During that time, he said, you don't have to go back. Okay. 3 or so months later, I ended up vending. I started, okay, work for myself. At first, I was making the lotions and things for his business or his little side hustle that I was turning into a business. And I'm like, okay, I was making lotions and soaps. He was selling things, incense and oils and stuff, whatever somebody would bring to him. And I was like, okay, we could put this together since I'm already creating. I'm already making soaps and lotions and things, shampoo, hair conditioner, stuff like that. Decided to put that together, and he was the one selling it. I was working in the back, and he would always downplay my role in the things, but just like keeping it focused, keeping in mind, it wasn't even on purpose. So maybe this is what somebody can do. This is what you could do on purpose. But for me, what helped me was to keep in focus reality. Because that was the number one thing he would always try to fuck with, was my sense of reality. And then would try to call me crazy or try to make me look crazy if I don't agree with what he's saying. And then he would turn into the bully and threaten me with violence, and then I still wouldn't accept it, which caused him to break down and say, why can't I break you? And that was the aha moment for me, because why are you trying to break somebody that you love, somebody that you care about? Like, why would you want to break me? And he excused it with like the build and destroy, like he had to break me down to build me back up. But the things that he wanted me to agree with was lies. So it's like, well, what are you trying to build me up to be, and why is it that I'm not okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that I'm not enough? Like, that didn't add up to me, and that didn't make sense, and I refused to accept that as reality. So that helped me to eventually break free and see, once my daughter said that he kind of made a pass at her, I said that was it. He was gone. I kept him away, and eventually, so just at all costs, hold on to your reality. Don't let them make you think that what you know is true is not true. Trust yourself. Even when it seems like you're in Twilight Zone, even when it feels like you are the only one that's seeing it, that's just because they're good at covering it up in front of other people. They're good at putting on that mask and acting. Hold on to your truth. Just hold on to your truth.